All right, Taylor, thank you.
Hi.
Hi. I'm really excited that you chose to come chat with me today. Almost done with school here.
Yeah,
Can you believe
almost.
it?
I'm nervous.
You're
Very nervous.
nervous?
Yeah, because everyone always asks me, they're like, "Are you excited?" And I'm excited, but like messing up here is so much different than messing up in like the actual world,
Oh,
because that's like actual people,
yeah, that's
actual
true.
humans. Like I can mess up on my boyfriend and my mom, but messing up on strangers is scary.
Yeah. Well, while you've been here, you've had a chance to do some. I guess you would practice on some real people
Yeah, but they were mainly all people like my roommates
that
and
you
like
knew.
my mom and like my dad. Like they were actual people I knew, and I could be like, I can hit you and you're fine. But not actual people.
Well, now you're actually on your externship,
Yeah, as
correct?
of Monday.
As of Monday,
Hmm.
so you've had a chance to. What does that externship look like?
So I start next
Oh,
Monday.
you actually
Yeah,
start next
yeah. So
Monday.
this week's still
Oh, so this is
finals.
the last week of.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
But I did do a full 8 hours of like a shadow interview last week on Thursday, I
Okay,
believe.
cool. Mm-hmm.
And that was like I got to watch like what they did and all of kind of how their office worked before I actually went in, which was nice because I got to see what it looked like before I was just thrown in there, and that was
Yeah.
very interesting because I like majority of the stuff they did. I was like, "Do you guys still do this?" And they're like, "No, I haven't done that forever." I was like, oh, "Okay, well, good to know, I guess." But so far I have no clue like what my schedule will be yet. I have to talk to them on Monday, but
Okay.
yeah, that starts
Cool.
Monday, which
Got it now. I see the nerves. All
yeah.
right, makes sense. Before we dive too much into that, because I do want to ask you some more questions about your upcoming externship. Let's just rewind so everybody knows who you are. If you could just take a minute to introduce yourself, what program are you in, and then let's get back to where are you going on your externship?
Oh goodness. So my name is Taylor Fromang, and I am in the dental assistant program with Miss Prather and Miss Kim. Little brats that they are. They're a little mean sometimes. That's how they keep you in line though, and that's good.
Yeah,
Sometimes you get off track, and
yeah,
they'll be like, "No."
yeah. They definitely make it bright and fun, I'm sure. Probably a little feisty.
With
I
all
would agree with you.
Miss Prather's unicorn stuff
Oh, yeah.
all over the place. Oh
Everywhere.
yes.
Okay, so in the dental assisting program and going out on your externship as of Monday,
Hmm.
where will you be externing
I'll be at Bar Family Dental.
at?
It's
Okay,
off of Patterson.
okay.
Yeah, and I think I'll be with Dr. Skyler instead of Dr. Barr, but I don't know for sure yet because I haven't met him yet. The
Okay.
day I shadowed, he wasn't there. So,
Okay.
but I'll be there until I believe March 8th. I think is that Thursday or May 8th. I
Yeah.
believe is that Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Long time.
Long time. Well, at least that'll be like a long enough time for you to like maybe shed some of your nerves of
Yeah,
dealing
yeah.
with people.
Hopefully I'll get cracked down enough.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have like an outline of kind of what your expectations are in your externship, or you get to go in and you get to have like an orientation kind of experience on that first day on Monday, or
I'm hoping. Obviously, I'm hoping that I don't get just like straight thrown into it because I think that would have more of a chance of not messing up, but not knowing how their office works. So
yeah,
I'm hoping the first day, or at least maybe the second day, I can at least learn a little bit on how they run things, which I saw mainly on Thursday, but obviously that was with one dentist, not two. So I don't know if it runs different when they have both dentists there.
mm-hmm.
Um, and like I saw a little bit how like they're in between patients on how they run things, but I'm just hoping that I can know like just a little bit more
Yeah,
before they're just like, okay, here go. And I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
like I know stuff, but I don't know how you do stuff,
yeah, yeah,
because every doctor's different, every place is different. They all do stuff different. They all like for us we use um like hemostat cords instead they use hemostat liquid, and I'm like, oh, okay, well I didn't know that. So
yeah,
I'm just hoping I can learn just how they work first for a day and then actually go into it
yeah, yeah.
instead of just
Yeah, I think that's so smart of you. Something about you, I don't know if it's been the experience that you've been here, if it's been your instructors kind of yapping at you a little bit, but the fact that you know stuff, but you just need to know how they work
yeah.
is probably a testament of you probably going to be doing or will do really well there because you just have the understanding like, all right, things are going to be different
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And I just have to know it so I can be good at it.
Yeah, because I've also previously, before I was 18, so I legally couldn't do anything. I shadowed at 2 other offices before I even came here. But since I couldn't touch anything because I was under 18, I literally just watched. I couldn't do nothing. And their offices work obviously so much different than the next office. And then the next one works so much different than this one. So it's obviously everyone's different, but I'm just hoping that they're not too different because obviously you're learning how stuff works here and then you have to completely relearn a whole new office.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're not too crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious how you got yourself entwined in dental in the first place. I'm just going to personally tell you that from what I know from the outside looking in, it's a very specific field. Like you have to like very specific or dislike. No, like very specific gross things. Maybe the rest of us feel like it's gross.
Yeah.
But how do you get into dental? Do you have to like teeth? Have you had experience with dental before? Maybe you had parents or family who's gone into the field. How did you end up here?
Well, I originally started off as in the vet area because I live on a farm, so I'm used to all the gross stuff, if you will. And I did that my junior year, but they didn't allow me to recontinue my senior year, which I was like, that's stupid. Why would you offer it to me as a junior if I can't do it as a senior? So I just graduated early, and then I worked for the next couple years after that. And then my mom just texted me one day. She's like, hey, I signed you up for an interview for dental. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, I guess. I was like, alrighty. But I've never had an amazing dental experience. Like when I can't count on more than 2 hands, like how much stuff I've had going on in here. And I've never had like a nice assistant to be able to be there. I've never had a nice-ish dentist who's actually understanding. Like with me, I have to have like all the medications. I have to have all like the oxygen, like everything. Like I'm just a psycho, if you will. I hate it because I've had a dentist told me to shut up because I was crying and I was 4 years old. Like that's weird, but I my mom told me about it and I committed to it because I was like, this is an opportunity to stay in the medical area because I couldn't continue with a vet. So stay in the medical area, but I could be the dentist, like the dental assistant that I never had. And that I put on my scholarship paper that I ended up winning because they were like, oh, we loved your story. I was like, oh, thanks. Thanks for indulging in my trauma. But that's like my main thing was I just want to be that, like, even if I'm just standing there holding someone's hand, like I'm not actually doing anything. I'm just, that's still so much more important than like the people around them can even imagine. Yeah. Like I said, I've never had that. So I want to be that for someone.
Yeah, I just want you to know that I share your trauma.
Yeah.
Growing up, I never even thought about that until you mentioned it. Like I didn't have very many great dental experiences. It wasn't that the people were bad. It's just that no, they were bad. They didn't know what they were doing.
They sucked.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm here, I'm coming back here. I thought we already fixed this. Why are we refixing this? I'm in pain. I'm still in pain. And so I have just now gotten to a point where I do have like a dentist and a dental assistant who actually graduated from IntelliTech.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Yeah. Who are so kind and so patient and so good at what they do. I'm just like, I wish I would have had this as a child. Yeah. So the fact that you went through that and recognized that you could be somebody's like buddy or friend, like that helped them through something that shouldn't be so terrible and that's already scary is really cool.
Yeah, be like their advocate. And one of the teachers here, I don't know if I can say his name.
Yeah.
Mr. Saunders, who interviewed me, he said he goes to Bar Dental.
Oh.
And like 2 days after I had my interview with him, I was like, oh, I'm going to Bar Dental. So I was gonna email him and be like, hey, but I didn't remember to. But yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I like had all these bad dentists, and then I went to Bar, and then she's like the most amazing person ever. I was like, yeah, I've been looking into her, and then a couple days later, I was like, yay.
Yay, that's so cool. And so yeah, what a cool thing for you, because I think too, just having that experience helps you help other people
Mhm.
much better.
Yeah.
So you already have a great personality and are a great person. So tacking on all the experience that you've had in your program, which I kind of do want to dive into that a little bit. Your mom signed you up. I'm not lost on those words. Like
Yeah.
one day, just,
Yeah.
hey, whatever you were doing, we're going
Yeah.
to think about checking this out now.
Yeah, because they weren't forcing me to go to college. You know, I think every parent wants their kid to try. You know, and the only experience I had was WCCC when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then ever since then, I never really found anything because I've done everything like serving. I've done like clinic jobs. I've done like cashier, like all the things. And I'm like, there's nothing out there at this point other than going and spending money on like a 4-year degree. And in my eyes, like I'm not wanting to work forever. So I was like, what's the point of spending money on something I'm not planning on using forever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was at work one day and she just, hey, and I was like, oh, alrighty then. She goes, they're having like class sign-ups, like we're gonna do an interview. And then the next thing I know, I was signing my rights away.
Whatever, mom.
Yeah, I was like, alrighty. I have nothing like against it, you know. Like I've obviously shadowed at offices before, so she knew I was into the dental area.
Yeah.
And I was kind of just pushing it off because I was just wanting to work, just whatever, get money, you know, do stuff. Because at the time I was still living at home, and I'm not now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just wanting to save money, you know, do stuff with money.
Yeah.
And now she's like, hey. I was like, well, okay then. I guess that's how this is.
That's so funny. So when you got here for your interview, did you, I mean, you still had some flexibility. You could have said no. So was there something about like the interview, the information, the program that like excited you, that you were just like, all right, we're going to do this? Or
yeah, it was more or less of, I'm a cashier right now. And I was like, I'm not planning on being a cashier forever.
Yeah.
And most places, if you're wanting to get like an actual big kid job, you
Mhm.
need something,
Mm-hmm.
whether that be like something dumb or something like this, or even the 4 years out yonder, you need something.
Mm-hmm.
And most places don't take you if you don't have experience, which is what hopefully this will get me externing, is the experience that I need. And like I said, I did the dental stuff, so it was like, I liked it, so whatnot, you know. I want to stay in the medical field, but I don't want to be a nurse. And I already tried the vet, so we're just moving up in the line.
Cool, that's cool. So then when you got here, you started going through the program and everything. And how was that transition for you? Because I know you said you did, or maybe I missed it, you graduated a year early. Is that what I heard?
I graduated a semester early.
Early.
I did 12 credit hours my senior year, the first semester, so I just got everything done.
Okay.
And then I just worked up forever, and I think I joined here in July of 24. I graduated in 23.
Okay.
So I just worked for
a little while.
A year and a half, I believe is what that comes out to be. A year-ish. And then
jumped right into
here
school.
I am, yeah.
Did you have any issues with that transition? I mean,
not really. I mean, it was like weird. Like when August came of 23, the year I graduated, I was like, oh, I would be in like high school right now. Like I would be back in school. And I was like, well, I'm not. Like I'm working. Like it was weird to be like, oh, I've spent, 12 years in school and now I'm here. Like, but then when I like got back into school, I think it was easier because like high school starts at like 7 a.m, while here starts at like 9.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah.
I think just the hardest part was working afterwards, because my job closes at 5:30, but I get out of here at 2, so I only work so many hours in a day.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely rough, going from an actual full-time job to then a part-time job. I think that was the biggest issue. Mm-hmm. But you have to make sacrifices to be able to. You go from working as a cashier to working as a dental assistant, so that's important.
Do you feel prepared to take on your externship, and then after that, do you feel prepared to actually jump into the world of dental assisting?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Like I said, I'm just hoping that I get at least a day of watching again, so that I can know what the difference between the two offices are. I guess if you call our place an office, what the two offices look like and the difference. And obviously, like I said, I know what stuff is. I just need to know where it is, in case the doctor's like, oh, go get me a scalpel. And I'm like, tell me where. Like, walk me through the process, please.
Yeah.
Like, I want to just have a day of just watching and maybe hands-on, but not like fully being relied on for a day.
Yeah.
Just so I don't mess anything up.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to like ruin my chances, the first day because I didn't know how they work.
I have a feeling you're not going to ruin your chances. I think I think that you are kind enough, caring enough, you are smart enough, and that you want to do a good job. And I think that'll all shine through. And they know you're new, so they're going to help you.
Yeah, I when I was shadowing, I guess the other day at the interview, I was talking to one of the hygienists, and she's like, oh, don't worry, like everyone messes up, and she like is super patient. And I was like, what's scared? I was like, I don't care. People can play faces, like she could seem fine, but she could hate me right now.
Yeah.
I was like, freaking out.
All right, well, the conversations that I'm having with students, I'm calling tricks of the trade. So if you could just rewind back, I don't know if you've had very many challenges while you're here, other than, going to school and going to work at the same time, trying to figure out that transition. But if you could give somebody who is going into your program some advice, they're brand new, they're a little scared. Based on your experience here, what is the best advice you think you can give them?
Goodness, I would say it just coming from experience of what I've heard people say they have the hardest thing with is their surfaces, and that's just like making different words for what they are, like and like knowing like the anatomy of the tooth, like the way it goes, instead of it being crown, neck, root, dentin. I said you can never really eat Doritos, and so I was like, make different words for what they are, because it makes like more sense in people's heads. It's a thing my grandma taught me, and she went to nursing school, in like the 1800s, so way back when. But
we'll delete that part. It wasn't that long ago, Granny.
So it was like she had to learn about like what this virus was, and she made like a sentence, but the start of every letter, was the virus that she had to study. And I was like, oh, that's good to know. So that I made like the same thing, like I made my own sentence, but the start of every letter was what things are. And just like having someone that you can like practice on, like you have to floss, knowing how to floss, you practice like getting in there. And just like taking like a day out of like the week to actually like study. Like there's a day of the week that I don't go to work, so I can go straight from school to home and get like all the homework I need done, just so you're not jam packing it into like every single like night and you're like losing sleep over it. Like you ain't gotta worry about sleep, man. Like I still go to sleep and I still wake up and come here, and I think a lot of people obviously take it seriously, but I think a lot of people take it super seriously, and they like stress about it to the point that they're like, I have to leave because I can't do this. And I'm like, you're making it seem like it's like the end of the world, but it's really not. Like it's genuinely, obviously it's not easy, especially being new, but like having someone you can study with. Like I had one of my other dental girls in my house not that long ago. We were doing homework together. I was like, we're getting this done right now together. So having someone in class that you can bond with and do stuff with, like learning, like you're like practice stuff with things that you can learn off of, like the different sentences, having something you can practice on, make flashcards. My boyfriend was testing me with flashcards all the time. I was like, perfect. And just like not jam packing it and like losing sleep over it, because you got 6 weeks to do it. It's not like you have to do it in a day.
Yeah.
All of that in a day. I could never imagine doing that all in a day. I get it. Oh, I would not let myself lose like brain cells over it. I would be like, I'm doing this, I'm paying for this, and I'm not going to ruin my opportunity with this. So I'm going to not stress myself out with it. There's obviously some days that were harder than others, like some weeks, some terms that were ridiculous, but like at the end of the day, like before you know it, like finals is here and you're like, oh, I made it through.
Yeah. I think that is good advice, because a lot of people do take it maybe it's not life or death serious.
Yeah.
And they do treat it like that, and it probably makes them stressed out, makes them sick. I feel like I always know if somebody's like super stressed out because they're just sick all the time. I'm like, oh, sick again, huh?
Yeah.
It's that stress. It's wearing you down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, about that.
But yeah, I think that's great advice for somebody who's getting started into the program. Make good friends, study, take the time to study, but also take time for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not life or death. Don't stress it till you're.
There's a girl in our class, and she stresses about like the smallest things. I'm like, girl, quit. I'm like, jeepers, man.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, like I was like, you're gonna have it rough if you keep continuing like this, because like I said, like you have to worry of like be I lost it. Be like attentive to it, and like it is stressful,
Yeah.
But and take it seriously, but don't, like you said, don't make it like the end of the world. Be like you said, like be able to do stuff, still go out, still hang out, have friends, do all the things. It isn't like the end of the world if you can't like finish this one thing. You just have, like I said, 6 weeks, if not even a week sometimes, to do things. Like it's not just then and there.
Yeah.
It like kills me like watching her like every single day, because she just like she stresses so bad.
Yeah.
Like this is her first term too, so she just came out of CCR.
Yeah.
And obviously the first term's always the hardest, and I always tell her, I'm like, this is gonna be the worst term, especially because you're new. This is hard. Like there's only 3 of you. Once I leave, I was like, you guys are gonna have it rough, but it's gonna be rougher if you keep doing this. Yeah. And she's like, well, what do I do? And I'm like, well, X, Y, and Z. And she's like, oh, okay. I guess I'll try that. I'm like, please, please do. You're gonna be miserable.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to check in with her once she's gotten a little further in her career and see if she's taken your advice.
She better have. If not, she owes me a cookie or something.
I love it. You owe me a cookie. Last question here. As you are almost finishing up your program here at Intellitech, is there any shout outs you want to give? Anyone that stands out that you want to say thank you to, or anything like that?
I wonder. Probably Miss Kim and Miss Prather. We've like implicated new ways of sterilizing this term because of OSHA and whatnot, and that's been rough because they've like, obviously they expect me to be able to teach the new kids, which obviously as they should. I'm the oldest one there in the term. But sometimes it's been rough because I'm like, I also don't know these things, and you're expecting me to know these things to tell them, even though we are learning this together. But I definitely think 99.9% of the time they're little sweethearts, and they're all in our gossip and all in our juicy information with me and the other girls in that class. And I email Miss Prather all the time, be like, hi, I'm bored, just saying hi. And she always responds. I'm like, I better not lose contact with you when I leave. And probably, obviously all my volunteers I had come in, I had to have 4 every single term come in. So that's a lot of people. And, they have to take out time of work and school and like all the things and come in for an hour just for them. Just for me, They're losing money over me, which I'm like, thank you. Yeah. And goodness, probably, I guess my mom for throwing me on the back burner, signing me up. And yeah, that's probably it. Just like, and I guess I'll shout out my classmate Kylie. She's graduating a term after me, so she's gonna be the next head girl over there because she's the last one after me. But she's the one who was at my house the other day hanging out with me, getting all this stuff done, and we've been hanging out after school because we're like, we're not getting stressed over this. Yes. We are gonna hang out, like we'll be good. So I think just teachers, my volunteers, parents, and Kylie, of course, my little friend.
Well, it has been a pleasure talking to you today. You have such a bright, happy, sweet personality. Wherever you go, and I know you're going to be somebody's office at some point in time, but whatever you go, whatever you do, we know you're going to be great at. And don't hesitate to come back here and say hi every once in a while.
I'll try.
All right.
Well, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.